All right, I need to see this for myself because according to the internet, Bam Adebayo just dropped 83 points in an NBA game. And you know that alone is crazy. But what's even crazier is that some people are calling it the most unethical game in NBA history. So today I'm going to be reacting to what actually happened. Was this a historic performance or the biggest case of stat padding we've ever seen in the NBA? Should records count if a team is clearly forcing the ball to one player? Let me know in the comments, and I need you to lock in with Hardwood Skip as we get right into it.
The best scoring nights throughout NBA history, and you will see a list of the greatest players to ever play the game. Jordan 69, Steph 62, Lillard 71, Luka's 73, Kobe Bryant's famous 81. It's the most coveted record.
Yeah, these are known stats though.
And historical evidence of the
and Bam was this close to breaking Kobe Bryant's record
in NBA history. Which begs the question, what the hell is Bam Adebayo doing here with a mind-boggling modern NBA record of 83 points? Well, this, my friends, is the result of quite possibly the most egregious case of stat padding the NBA has ever seen. And despite scoring the second most points in a single game in the history of the NBA, Bam's 83-point night will go down as one of the most shocking and controversial games we may ever see.
But I want to ask a question. Is it wrong for players to pass the ball continuously to a fellow player to make baskets? I mean, isn't that teamwork? Because when I watched the game, all I see was teamwork. It wasn't stat padding or some sort of politics or whatever. Bro, Bam was all in on the game. And I want to join the others to hate because that's what everyone is doing currently on the internet. This is real. They kept feeding him because they believed in him. And yeah, he delivered every basket that led to the 83 points. Bam Adebayo delivered. So I see no reason why the hatred should be there.
Tuesday night, in a game featuring the Washington Wizards and the Miami Heat, with 1 minute and 46 seconds left in the fourth quarter, the Heat were up 146 to 119. By all conceivable measures, this game was a blowout. It's over. But with that being the case, why is Drew Smith attempting a full-court heave while his team is up nearly 30 points on a piss-poor Wizards team? Well, he's not. He's trying to get the ball to Bam Adebayo, who is being double-teamed 50 feet away from the ball because he has 79 points and absolutely no intention of subbing out of this game. At this point, the only way Bam is going to add to his historic total will be at the free throw line because Washington is now guarding him with their entire roster. And what started as a normal basketball game has now become a full-blown circus act. But it didn't start this way. In just the first quarter of this game, Bam Adebayo had 31 points, the second most points scored in the first quarter of a game in NBA history. By halftime, Bam had 43, already a career high, and the second most points scored in the first half of a game in NBA.
Wait a second. Heat are up nearly 30 points. And you know, at this point, most stars will already be sitting on the bench. But Bam kept going. So you see how eager and fired up and heated Bam Adebayo was in this game. Because I see no reason why the hatred should come in. I'm saying this because that's what's happening currently. It doesn't seem like stat padding to me, man. Bam gave his all in, bro. Should the player still be chasing points when the game is already decided? That's my question.
NBA history. Going into the third, the Wizards still had no answer for Bam. His points still flooding in, both naturally in the flow of the game and ethically. By the end of the third, Bam had 62 points, which, you guessed it, is the second most points through 3 quarters in NBA history.
Damn, the second most quarters through 3 quarters.
Was already being celebrated by his teammates and fans. He had broken LeBron's franchise scoring record of 61. He set a new career high, and the Heat were blowing the Wizards out by 20. And it is at this point where Bam and his coaching staff are left with a decision. Stay in the game and build onto an already substantial lead.
Exactly.
Leave the floor and sub out as the hero of the night, or stay in the game and potentially chase the league's scoring record.
Good.
What decision?
And the decision he made was actually good because he stayed in the game and he made sure he gave his all in. Yes. If they had the decisions for him to sub out, go rest, or just debunk scoring and breaking whoever's record it was. Bro, Bam chose the right decision. He made the right decision. And he gave his all in, bro. How many players you think could get to the point of 83? I mean, I'm sure it was Wilt Chamberlain's 100 points he was about to break, but he wasn't given the chance enough. Sure, if he had enough chance, he would have broken that record. He would have broken that record. Yes, and even added extra. Yeah, we will say is the help with the help of his teammates, coaching staff, or whatever. Bro, it's teamwork. It wasn't planned. It was teamwork. Isn't that part of the training? Teamwork makes dream work. Isn't that the goal? So why the hatred?
Should they make? Well, it just so happens that I covered this exact predicament in my last video, where I asked the question, is it possible to score 100 points in an NBA game? The final verdict, yes, it is possible. The only problem,
It's very
the
possible.
circumstances required to have such a game are so unlikely that we will probably never see 100 points ever again. Unless a player is willing to infringe on the integrity of the game itself. There have been many games throughout the years that had record-breaking potential, but for a few reasons, most notably the game being a blowout and the potential record breaker respectfully sitting the final quarter, there have been very few instances where a player was able to genuinely chase the record without any negative consequences. How did Bam Adebayo drop the most points in modern NBA history on a random Tuesday night in March?
First of all, I want to ask a question. You know, this is the moment that decides everything. Live the game as the hero or chase history. And Bam chose the right call. If you were the coach, would you let your player chase the record? Or you bench him to get some rest?
Great respect to let him. History of the NBA. Now three. Bam. He gets fouled.
By choosing option C and infringing on the integrity of the game. In what could have been a celebrated, memorable, and ethical performance, Bam and the Heat decided to go a different route. With about 9 minutes left in this game, Bam had this incredible and one. A blow-by followed up with this great acrobatic finish at the rim through contact, and an explosion from the fans in the arena. And after hitting the free throw, this would have been the ideal and historically acceptable moment for Bam to check out of this game. It was his 70th point of the night. Miami had the game all but wrapped up. And up to this point, all of his points were ethical, non-GMO, farm-raised buckets. But instead, Bam stayed in the game. And here is how he scored his final 13 points. Free throw, free throw, free throw, free throw, miss three, layup, free throw, miss three, turnover, miss three, miss.
Yeah. Okay, now I see why people are mad, yeah? They're intentionally trying to get him more points. That's what everyone is saying. And this is where people start questioning the legitimacy. Is it wrong for a team to help a player break a record? Just like I said a few minutes ago, that teamwork makes dream work. It isn't wrong. Because you won't tell me, oh, check, Bam takes the ball, run all around the court, make basket. He's going to get tired easily. I mean, Wilt Chamberlain broke, he had 100 points back then. Are you telling me he did it on his own? If your teammates don't help you, if they aren't united, first of all, they wouldn't even win the game. Yes. They wouldn't win the game, first of all. But in this case, they won the game and Bam broke a record. So why the hatred? Oh, it isn't LeBron, it isn't Curry, it isn't SGA. Is that what everyone is saying? Because it isn't your favorite player, so is that why you should hate on someone whose success is determined by his level of unity with his teammates? So why? Is it wrong or is it right?
Three, free throw, free throw, free throw, free throw, intentional miss free throw, attempting to manufacture more points, free throw, free throw. Bye-bye Kobe, hello Bam. In what is now being called the most unethical game of basketball the league has ever seen, the Miami Heat spent the final 7 minutes of this game executing every conceivable tactic to manufacture more points for Bam Adebayo. chucking up unnecessary threes, intentionally fouling the Wizards to get possession, even going as far as intentionally missing a free throw to try to get the ball back to Bam. And as a result, they are quickly discovering why Kobe's modern scoring record stood for so long and why no one can seem to match it despite a number of players getting close.
Free throw, free throw, free throw. Yeah, this definitely feels forced. I'm talking from the other people, the fans or whatever, that keep saying he wouldn't have done it without his teammates and coach, whatever. But at the same time, he still had to score the points. Definitely, you wouldn't pass me the ball and expect me to throw it away just because I don't want people to start saying, okay, oh, it's fake. This is stat padding. Like, what the hell are you talking about, bro? You pass the ball to me and I make buckets. Is that not the point? Do free throws make a big scoring game less impressive? I mean, obviously, it's part of the game. Either ways, I have to make buckets. Yes, I have to score and get the points. That is the point, man. So I don't see any reason for hatred. They say corruption is bad if I'm not involved. So because it's not your favorite player, I guess that's why this whole hatred thing is happening. Yes, you wouldn't tell me otherwise.
Because, wait, I actually already said this a week ago. Let me find the clip real quick. 100 points in a single game is possible, but the circumstances required to have such a game, to justify one player taking that many shots and doing so without infringing on the integrity of the game, is so narrow that we may never see it happen again. Ah, that's right. The fallout for unapologetically chasing out. Yeah. This is truly a definitive and timeless paradox of big performances. Historic nights like this have become less about can a player pull it off.
You can already see that Bam's energy in this game is actually intense.
To pull it off, in which case the circumstances virtually never do. This performance from Bam is not only proof of that, but it is evidence of what we all have known to be the truth. There are many players around the league right now who could go for 80, 90, maybe even 100 points on the right night, if they set their mind to it, if them and their team game plan for it, if it is...
Exactly. This is actually a great point. A lot of players today probably could score 80 or even 90 points. But the unwritten rules stop them though. And are the unwritten rules preventing the NBA history from happening? If you know some of these unwritten rules, please drop below in the comments. I don't know. I need to know. I deserve to know, right?
Their sole focus for 48 minutes if the Washington Wizards are on their schedule. But even attempting something like this would require a player to break the unwritten rules of basketball. And that clearly isn't worth the backlash of possibly pulling it off. It isn't worth it. So what were the fruits of Bam's labor? The second most points in a single game in NBA history, the most free throw attempts in a single game in NBA history, by far the most free throws made in a game in NBA history, and the fifth most three-pointers attempted in a game. Oh, and he also broke the record for the most criticism received by a single player in one game. Now, if we ignore all context and what it took to get there, according to the game score metric, which takes all the good things a player does in the box score minus all the bad things and spits out a number that attempts to reflect the impact a player had on a game.
Yeah, look at this list. Luka, Booker, Lillard, Kobe. These are legendary scoring performances. And you see Bam is right there. Is Bam's 83 actually more impressive than some of these games? Or isn't Bam's 83 points worth talking about? Or does Bam's points, 83 points, Bam's 83 points doesn't deserve to be here? Is that what we're saying?
Bam had statistically the sixth best game in NBA history, which is unfortunate that it will not be remembered as such. In my last video, I used this chart to display the greatest scoring nights in NBA history and the pace these players were on to reach their final totals. For example, here's Luka's 73, here's Booker's 70, Lillard's 71, here's Kobe's 81, and here is Bam's 83. Through 3 quarters, he was tied for the second most points all time going into the fourth. In fact, that and one bucket in the fourth quarter that I mentioned earlier is right here. All of his buckets leading up to this point were non-forced ethical buckets within the flow of the game. Bam Adebayo was playing out of his mind, better than anyone ever has in modern NBA history, even before all of these shameless scoring tactics were deployed. The stat padding that spurred all of this outrage took place here in the final 9 minutes of the game. All of this is now invalid because of this. A week ago, I said the methods.
Yeah, now this is where things get interesting because people say Wilt's 100 had similar tactics. And if Bam's game is unethical, does that mean Wilt's 100 should be questioned too? And yes, Wilt Chamberlain's 100 points, there wasn't any footage. If there is any footage anywhere, I need to see. Yes, we have a record here that has footage, and that's Bam's. Kobe's as well, though. If you're saying Bam doesn't deserve it, saying it's unethical, it's illegitimate, or whatever you call it, then Wilt Chamberlain's 100 points that has no footage shouldn't be legitimate. Then isn't that what you are saying? Isn't that what you are saying, or so?
The Warriors used to get Wilt to 100 were outrageous and would never be used in the modern NBA. 7 days later, we're watching a center get triple teamed 94 feet out while up 25 with no admissible reason for him still being on the court. I now stand corrected. But I don't think these final minute tactics are worth discrediting this entire performance. 83 points is 83 points. Regardless of how you go about getting them, you still have to go out and get them.
Yes.
The irony of this whole thing is that I've seen a lot of comments about how this game was proof for some fans that Wilt Chamberlain actually did score 100 back in 1962.
It's possible.
There being no video evidence. If Bam can get to 83, Wilt Chamberlain could and definitely did get to 100. Which there's already a laundry list of proof from that game. I don't know why this would be the determining factor. But if Bam's game is being ridiculed and dismissed, even if the criticism is justified, then so should the mythical 100-point scoring record. Because the way that Bam got his points is the exact method Wilt used to get his. Like, literally. Bar for bar.
Hardwood.
During the final minutes of Heat Wizards, Keyshawn Johnson intentionally missed a free throw in hopes that the Heat would get the rebound to get it back to Bam. This is exactly what the Warriors did for Wilt. The Heat also intentionally found.
You see, it's the same pattern, bro. All I see here is teamwork, bro. There is no points or cause to say, oh, it isn't legitimate, it's wrong, it's false, he doesn't deserve it. What are we saying? Let's be honest. Scoring 83 points in an NBA game is insane, no matter how you do it. But the real question is whether the way it happened changes how we remember it. But whatever, who cares? Because an 83 points is still an 83 points, no matter how it scores. Yes, check the stats. This was 79 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 assists here. If you look below, this was in the fourth quarter. And bro, he deserved every shot at it because he puts in all his energy, his time, his IQ, his confidence in this game to make this happen. I'm not sure he was even thinking of breaking the record though. I'm not sure. He was just playing. He just wanted to play and make points and probably win the game and make baskets. That's all. I'm not sure he cared about breaking Wilt Chamberlain's record or Kobe's 81 points.
While holding an insurmountable lead to get the ball back faster. Warriors did the same exact thing to get Wilt to 100. If Bam's 83 points is invalid because of these tactics, then for that same reason, so is Wilt's 100. Not only did the two biggest scoring nights in NBA history deploy the most gimmicky, shameless tactics to pull it off, this is quite possibly the only way to pull it off. The only difference between Bam's 83 and Wilt's 100 is video cameras and an angry mob of critics online. Now, to be completely honest, I was thrilled to finally see a coach allow his player to chase a record and have himself a night that most players could only dream of. You want to know how many games I've watched that were spoiled by an early sub? A player being punished for giving too much belt to the opposing team. A 3-point party cut short because they were playing too good.
But why do this keep happening though? Why do coaches keep spoiling the player stats? Why is it so? Is it because of the unwritten rules, or there's something behind? Is it politics or whatever? I don't know. I need to know. In the comments, please drop it. I'll be reading it out. Because you see a player doing well, and for a fact, this is the first time I'm also seeing a coach letting the player play. This is what's happening. The moment he realized Bam Adebayo was all in with the heat, the energy, the tactics, the skill, he focuses all his energy from the other players to Bam. He made sure they had to work together because he was clearly carrying the team. He carried the game. That's what I saw throughout the whole game. Bam carried the game. And I'm glad the coach didn't spoil or bench him. He made sure he followed and allowed Bam play. Yes, that's it. That's the way to do it. I'm sure if other coaches can follow Bam's coach line or whatever, other players will wake up and they may likely make 100 points, 150 points, 200 points in a game. It's possible. It's very possible as long as the player and the players in the team are willing to agree on a common goal. And that's teamwork, which makes dream work.
Potential record shut down because it wouldn't be in good taste. If this is what it takes to make up for all the times I had to watch Steve Kerr pull a player from a game on the verge of a league record, then so be it. I am just as surprised as you that I will now see Bam Adebayo's name above Kobe Bryant's for the rest of my days. But to see Bam have the audacity to stay in this game, emphatically do what no one else would dare, was just as fun as it was shocking. Which, by the way, every single player, without exception, would choose to stay in the game and chase a record if their coach allowed them to. This just happens to be the rare case where a coach did allow it. How can we blame Bam for doing something every player would do if given the chance? I don't know, maybe instead of putting all the blame on the man who just scored 83 points in an NBA game, we should aim that frustration at the team that allowed it to happen.
Thank you. Aim that frustration at the opposing team that allowed it to happen. Yes, because tell me why you should get mad and all of that. Why the criticism? Why the hatred? Blame it on the opposing team that let it happen. For a fact, he was just playing. He focused all his energy to win, and that's the whole point of the game, to win. Isn't that right? Yes. So it happened. So now I want to hear from you. Was Bam Adebayo's 83-point game a historic performance, a stat padding, or something in between? Should players be allowed to chase records in the NBA? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you on Wednesday, same time. I'll be dropping more videos, and I want you to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification button below, and make sure you tune in. This is Hardwood Skip, the only hardwood in the whole world. You wouldn't find any hardwood anywhere. So I need to see you here by Wednesday. If I don't see you, I'm going to use my hardwood and come look for you. On this planet, Africa, Asia, China, wherever, I'm coming look for you. So lock in with Hardwood Skip. See you on Wednesday, Fridays, and Sundays. I love you all. Peace out.